Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachariyam Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Ist ein bisschen Echo, oder? Haribol? Ja, ein bisschen Echo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasa Tato Jayamudhirayet. Hare Krishna. So English is okay, no? Everybody speaks English. Übersetzt jemand für dich? Der Ruka Prabhu übersetzt ins Deutsche. Yeah, you can come forward. I'm not contagious. So we're reading from from 4th Canto, chapter 19, King Prithu's 100 horse sacrifices, text 38. Ja? Ist 38 dran? 38. Okay, good. Please repeat word by word. Sam Tvang Vimrishyasya Bhavang Prajapate Sankalpanam Vishvam Shrijam Pipiprihi Aindrim Cha Mayam upadharma matarang prachandam pakandam patang prabho jahi satvam vimrishya sabhavam prajapate sankalpanam vishvasrijam pipiprihi Aindrim chamayam upadharma mataram prachanda pakanda patam prabho jahi satvam vimrishyasya bhavam prajapate sankalpanam vishvasrijam pipiprihi Aindrim chamayam upadharma mataram prachanda pakanda patam prabho jahi Ladies, word by word. Saham, the aforesaid. Tvam, you. Vimrishya, considering. Asya, of the world. Bhavam, existence. Prajapate, O protector of the people. Sankalpanam, the determination. Vishvasrijam, of the progenitors of the world. Pipiprihi, just fulfill. Aindrim, created by the King of Heaven. Cha, also. Mayam, illusion. Upadharma, of the irreligious systems of so-called sannyasa. Mataram, the mother. Prachanda, furious. dangerous. Pakandapatam, the path of sinful activities. Prabhu, O Lord, Jahi, please conquer. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. O Protector of the people in general, please consider the purpose of your being incarnated by Lord Vishnu. The irreligious principles created by Indra are but mothers of so many unwanted religions. Please therefore stop these imitations immediately. Once again, O Protector of the people in general, please consider the purpose of your being incarnated by Lord Vishnu. The irreligious principles created by Indra are but the mothers of so many unwanted religions. Please, therefore, stop these imitations immediately. Purport. Lord Brahma addresses King Prithu as Prajapati just to remind him of his great personality in maintaining the peace and prosperity of the citizens. Maharaj Prithu was empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead for this purpose only. It is the duty of the ideal king to see that people are properly executing religious principles. Lord Brahma especially requested King Prithu to conquer the pseudo-religious principles produced by King Indra. In other words, it is the duty of the state or king to put a stop to pseudo-religious systems produced by unscrupulous persons. Originally, a religious principle is one, given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it comes through the channel of disciplic succession in two forms. Lord Brahma requested Prithu Maharaj to desist from his unnecessary competition with Indra, who was determined to stop King Prithu from completing 100 yajnas. Instead of creating adverse reactions, it was better for Maharaj Prithu to stop the yajnas in the interest of his original purpose as an incarnation. This purpose was to establish good government and set things in the right order. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shriyuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopipakanta Radhakanta Namostate Jayatam Surato Pangor Mamamanda Matirgati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radhamadana Mohana Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadru Mada Shrimadratangara Simhasanasto Shrimad Radha Srila Govinda Deva Upreshtalivi Sevamana Usmarami Shrimandra Sarasaram Vivam Siva Tatatastitaha Karsham Veno Sunar Gopi Gopinata Shri Estunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Once again the verse. Swatam Vrimishyasya Bhavam Prajapate Sankalpanam Vishvashrijam Pipiprihi Aindrim Chamayam Upadharma Mataram Prachanda Pakanda Patam Prabhojahim. O Protector of the people in general, please consider the purpose of your being incarnated by Lord Vishnu. The irreligious principles created by Indra are but mothers of so many unwanted religions. Please therefore stop these imitations immediately. Hare Krishna. So, Lord Brahma is talking here to King Prithu, and he is giving him good advice, or you could also say basically he is stopping him from continuing his endeavors. Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport that Brahma is suggesting that Prithu Maharaj should stop this unnecessary competition with King Indra. So if King Prithu would have completed his 100 horse sacrifices, this Ashvamedha Yajnas, then he would have been eligible to become himself Indra. So Indra is a position, it's not a person, and the person occupying that position changes regularly, and sometimes it can change also prematurely. If somebody becomes very qualified, sometimes a yogi or a rishi, or in this case a king like Maharaj Prithu, might become so qualified that it becomes obvious that the current Indra has to give up his position and give it away to this new, more qualified person. So this is important to understand, especially when sometimes people wonder why there are so many gods or divinities in Vedic tradition. Some of these divinities are in temporary positions, and some of them, like the Vishnu Tattvas, they are not in a temporary position, they are eternal positions. And especially Lord Indra in the Vedas is glorified so much. But we understand that Lord Indra, like Brahma said, I think a few verses before, that even amongst the demigods, there are so many unwanted desires. So that's an interesting indication. Even amongst the demigods, there are so many unwanted desires. That means that even the demigods are, you could say, siding with the Lord. They accept the Lord as the Supreme Lord, and they, in principle, are, you could say, good people. They're standing on the right side. At the same time, they have still unwanted material desires. They still are pursuing material benefits, wealth, power, influence, and respect. And if that's not fulfilled, it might lead to some, unwanted situations. Like the classical example, of course, is the Govardhan Puja, where Indra was completely annoyed, that small boy Gopal, small Krishna, stopped his yajna, ceremony specially performed for Indra to attract rain for the farmers and residents of Vrindavan. Krishna opposed this ceremony and diverted all the rituals, all the ingredients towards celebrating Govardhan. And Indra became very angry. So that's clear that there are some material desires which, when frustrated, lead to anger. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, when there is attachment to the sense objects, it is expected that there will be frustration also, because not always all desires will be fulfilled. Or you could say in a different, important realization we should all have is that our ability to desire will match our ability to fulfill desires. So we can desire so many things, but our ability to fulfill those desires is always very limited. So therefore you can expect frustration, always. Always you can expect frustration, because we can desire so much, but we can only fulfill so much. And yes, so Indra is once again here confused and afraid, is very attached to his position as Indra and is afraid that he might be toppled down. And as far as I remember, it is mentioned also that actually Prithu did not have the intention to actually take over the position of Indra. That was not Prithu Maharaj's intention, but Indra did not want to take any chances, that somebody might become qualified through the Ashvamedha Yajnas to take his position. So he decided to steal, to undermine the yajnas by stealing the horses. The horses are the key part of this ceremony. So if the horse is, taken away, then you have to start again from the beginning. So I think, I forgot exactly the number, but I think as Prithu Maharaja was nearing the 100th Ashvamedha ceremony, Indra intervened, again and again. So Prithu Maharaj and the son of Prithu Maharaj, they were all ready to chastise and punish Indra. And then Brahma intervened to try to mediate, you could say. And here, Brahma basically is telling Indra to stop the competition, to don't even do 100 yajnas. So this is very interesting because, sometimes we might have, even you are in the right, even you are, you could say, not doing anything wrong. Sometimes it might be good to still stop doing something because somebody else is reacting in the wrong way to it. In Germany, there's a saying, "Der Klügere gibt nach." No? So the one who is smart gives in first. So when there is a conflict, the person who's smarter is the one who's going to start de-escalating. Because otherwise you can always escalate. It can become worse and worse. The conflict can become bigger and bigger, involve more and more people. Maybe even countries, and so many people can, be involved at the end at a conflict that is not de-escalated. But Brahma basically is telling Prithu Maharaj, your purpose was not to become a competitor to Indra. The purpose of your appearance was to protect the citizens. So when Vena, who was, you could say, kind of the father of Prithu Maharaj, even not directly. Vena, in the previous chapters, we heard how much havoc he created, by his tyrannical rule. And Prithu Maharaj came to, protect. And it is described a few chapters before that Prithu Maharaj is the incarnation of the power of Vishnu. Basically the power to rule, or the power of a king. He's empowered by this energy of the Lord and appears as a perfect king, as an ideal king. And one part of his, you could say, why Prithu Maharaj is famous is because also he introduced, or he was famous for his exalted deity worship. Prithu Maharaj celebrated, big festivals in honor of deities of the Lord, and he became famous for that. For each one of the 9 limbs of devotional service, there's one personality who excels at it, and at deity worship, Prithu Maharaj is actually listed as the one who performed deity worship in perfection. So. Yes, Prithu Maharaj was fulfilling, or was performing, you could say, this Ashvamedha Yagyas just because it's common, or you could say also it's involved with a lot of reputation, and it's considered to be very pious, to perform so many yagnas. But his intention was actually not to compete with Indra. But since Indra took it as a competition, so Brahma now is telling him, just stop it, It was anyway not your purpose, so why keep, triggering Indra unnecessarily, basically. Even, of course, it's completely Indra's fault, especially the reason that the main argument Brahma uses here is that the misbehavior of Indra was just the mother of so many more, you could say, what does Prabhupada say here? Unwanted religions, or unwanted traditions, The behavior of Indra, of stealing, behaving in an unmoral way while dressed like a saintly person, was just the mother or the beginning, of so many more unwanted traditions. Because the sad reality is, of course, that for many people, religion is something bad. It is nowadays, in our modern world, there's even this book, what's the name? I forgot the name of the author, but the name of the book is The God Delusion. Yeah? You know this book maybe? Huh? Richard Dawkins, yeah. He's a very, you could say, enthusiastic, atheistic preacher, He's almost like an atheistic missionary, you could say, Like you have Christian missionaries, he's an atheistic missionary, and he's in a similar... so once when I was distributing books, I entered a bookshop, and I thought, okay, I should read a little bit, what he's saying. So I opened the book, and some chapters are giving recommendations also. You should find other atheists. You should build communities of atheists. And you should together have atheistic sangha. So you can fight the oppressive, religions. And so there are so many. And the reason why, of course, the main arguments that that everybody will have is that religion created so many wars. So many people died because of religion, and so many people pretend to be religious, but actually they're not really religious. And you could say this is related to what Indra did here. Because so many times, those who are in the position and are wearing the clothes of a holy person end up being the greatest sinners, I mean, you will find that in so many traditions, unfortunately, that those who were supposed to be the protectors, supposed to be pure in behavior, end up being predators, or abusing their power, in all kinds of different ways. So this is all considered to be traced back to Indra, because people realize, religion is a good business, Religion is a good business, You open a church, you dress like a holy person, you speak, something that people will, appreciate or like, or feel emotionally touched and inspired, and you can make a lot of money, There are so many of these evangelical churches in America now, and other parts of the world also, and it's like incredible, like huge buildings and with light systems and sound effects and and all this, preachers and healers, or also gurus, so many different types of gurus, who, from time to time, it become their character becomes, exposed, questionable character traits they have. And also they might have such a big following, they open big ashramas, So this is all, Indra introduced this tendency, this, you could say once a threshold is passed, it's much more easy to do it again, You will probably have this experience. I don't know, maybe something small, maybe not even sinful, but when you're afraid to do something because it's forbidden, it's very difficult to do it the first time. But once you do it, like, oh, I could do it again, And then, other people see that nothing happened to him, so more people start doing the same. So, yes, Brahma is trying to inspire, Prithu Maharaj to stop these imitations, immediately. And but as we can see from the descriptions here, the even it was stopped, the damage was already done. Basically, the damage was already done, and already so many people, started following these imitations. And Srila Prabhupada in a few purports says that India is the country that exports most gods and fake gurus, fake gods and fake gurus. And it happens regularly, that some some sadhu or Baba, they claim to be God himself. They claim to be God himself. And even the Vedas describe that there are, anadinam ananta rupam. The Lord has unlimited different forms. So many different incarnations are there. At the same time, we should be very conservative in accepting someone as an incarnation of God. Basically, we only accept someone if he is accepted by a traditional sampradaya, or is mentioned in the text and the scriptures. Otherwise, we don't easily accept someone as an incarnation of God. But it's sometimes shocking and horrifying how many people are willing to accept somebody like that as God. It's sometimes we think, it's only very few or maybe crazy people would accept, somebody who can perform some, maybe some mystical, performances, or maybe has some, special spark in the eyes, accept somebody like that as God, But actually, the majority of people are very gullible, very easy to impress. Actually, if it feels good, probably it's good, So it's shocking sometimes how many people easily follow such a person, and become, convinced that this person might be God. And if we read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think this is very nice to see how Krishnadas Kaviraj is the author, no? Chaitanya Charitamrita, yeah. Chaitanya Charitamrita, the author is Krishnadas Kaviraj, no? Yes, okay. I wasn't sure for a moment. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj, he is citing so many different texts, to prove Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God. Because technically Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a Chana avatar, he's a hidden avatar, he's not directly, Krishna visible at first sight, And he revealed only to his intimate circle, he revealed that he's actually the Supreme Lord. Unlike in other incarnations where he appeared directly, like in a performance of ceremonies like we hear later on, Prithu Maharaj performs a very large fire ceremony. The 4 Kumaras come, and also Lord Vishnu personally, appears. And this is the culmination of a ceremony that the Lord personally might, appear as a, you could say, success of the ceremony. Or other incarnations like Lord Ram or Krishna, where he exhibits all his powers, publicly for so many people to witness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is hidden, is not directly visible, and therefore many people don't think, like in India even, outside of Bengal and Orissa, many people think that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was just a saint, just a saint from Bengal, 500 years ago, who introduced Harinam Sankirtan, very ecstatic, person. I once read this, like some Indologist was writing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, something like charismatic, ecstatic sadhu from Bengal, something like this. So therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj, when he is talking writing the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he's bringing all the different quotes and references. Shri Shri Pralalakshmi Singari Bhagwan Ki Jai. He brings all the quotes and references from different scriptures and texts to prove that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. So only under this circumstance we accept somebody as the Supreme Lord. So we should be conservative, and sometimes people might think that might be offensive against other traditions because we don't, readily accept whatever they say. But I think we are on the safe side, following this principle that Srila Prabhupada introduced. Srila Prabhupada is very vocal against other so-called incarnations of God. And if I remember correctly, even during Prabhupada's time, there was this famous, I forgot his name. It was a small boy who said he was incarnation of Krishna, and Prabhupada clearly dismissed, and other people, who pretend to say they are incarnations. Prabhupada also said, Krishna is beautiful, so if this person is not really beautiful, then, so, yes, I think it's a little bit early now to stop the lecture maybe, but maybe there are some questions and then we can maybe expand on some topics. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We know that they don't want it to compare with Indra, but
Mm-hmm.
actually a good reason for such things.
Yes. What are you cutting there actually?
Strawberries.
Strawberries, nice. Simhachalam strawberries, ki jai. So what is the reason why Prithu Maharaj performed Ashvamedha Yajnas? So it's if a king is qualified, then the ministers and brahmanas, maybe his guru, of a king might recommend him to perform certain sacrifices. So usually that's how it works, that a king has his Navaratna, like 9 jewel-like ministers, and advisors. And whenever he performs, whatever he does basically, he's always consulting with his ministers. And the ministers are brahmanas, and usually among the ministers is his guru, or maybe his guru is additionally, also present. So that's a very good combination. If you are a king and your guru is always there, you always will behave nicely. We all have this experience. When you are in front of your spiritual master, this natural inclination is there. Of course, to be a good disciple, to be exemplary in your behavior, and you're very conscious how you behave, how you deal, how you talk, what you do. So most kings had this honor, or you could say privilege to have the guru, always, sitting there and advising them, giving them guidance. So, and usually also kings, even they had the same training as the brahmanas. Of course, they were not engaged in the same activities as brahmanas after their, basic Gurukula education. So kings relied on the brahmanas, to calculate when is an auspicious time to do a ceremony, and when it would be, advisable to perform a certain sacrifice. And for example, with in the case of Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was also advised to perform what is this yajna? I forgot now. It was not Ashvamedha yajna, but because there's the Ashvamedha yajna. This Ashvamedha yajna we hear here is 100 Ashvamedha yajnas, which happen Rajasuya yajna. Yeah. So the Rajasuya yajna also involves a horse, but not the horse is not sacrificed. The Rajasuya yajna, a king establishes his supremacy over all the other kings on earth, by decorating a very beautiful, special horse with a plaque, which basically says, I, Yudhishthira Maharaj, I'm claiming the position of the Chakravarti, of the ruler among rulers. And if you oppose this position, you can fight against me, or you can let this horse cross your kingdom. So that was, a very common. So when a king was very qualified, like Prithu Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj, then the advisors, the brahmanas, they would tell, please, you're such a qualified king, it would be the best for everybody if you are the king among kings, Same like Lord Ram, he also performed Rajasuya Yajna, Lord Ram. So actually, and I remember in the Mahabharata, Prithu Maharaj actually was hesitating a little bit, but he was advised, no, you do it, you're qualified, you should do it, So then he sent, this, he performed the Rajasuya Yajna, and the horse goes, and most kings, accepted the horse, but Yudhishthira Maharaj also sent his 4 brothers, Nakula, Sahadev, Bhishma, Bhima, and Arjuna, in all the 4 directions, north, east, west, south, And if somebody opposed, the horse passing through, then they dealt with it. So, like that. So in a similar way, Prithu Maharaj was advised, to. There's always the Brahmanas who advise him. You are qualified. You should do it. So maybe it's similar. I heard sometimes. I don't know if it's written in Shastra, but I heard it a few times that for the first initiation, one should be very eager. Very eager. Please, I really want to get first initiation. One should really, work towards it and really ask for it. But for the second initiation, it's better to wait that somebody asks you to take it. So people will see you are qualified. You're doing steady service. You have Brahminical qualities. So they might say, I think it's a good idea. You should have second initiation. If somebody wants second initiation, is considered to be not such a good sign, actually. So it's better for this person to, it's a good character trait, to wait until you are recognized as a qualified Brahmana. So similarly, Prithu Maharaj was obviously very qualified. So therefore he was more than qualified to perform this yajna. But in this connection, it's also very interesting that performing such sacrifices, for us it's a little bit, you could say culturally a little bit far away maybe. But in India still there are some communities where it's very important, for your status in the community, how many sacrifices you performed. So in South India there's this, I mentioned this Nibudini Brahmanas in Kerala, and they are very traditional. They have very strong connection to Vedic rituals. They still carry out many of these very ancient, fire yajnas. They still know how to do it. And in these communities of Brahmanas, it's very important, If you it's basically, it's like we have in our tradition, we have, Bhakti Shastri, oh, he has Bhakti Shastri, nowadays everybody who wants to have second initiation should have Bhakti Shastri, but then, oh, he has Bhakti Vaibhava, or he has Bhakti Sarvabhauma, so somebody becomes exalted because of his learning. So in a similar way, in these Brahmana communities, they spend sometimes a lot of money, and energy and time, to prepare like very unique yajna. And only if they have this yajna, then they are accepted, in a certain, you could say, qualification, And it can become also, it can become like a karma kanda. It is karma kanda, basically, You perform yajnas and rituals, you become qualified, and then you are more recognized in society because you have performed this ceremony. So, in one sense, Ashwamedha Yajna is like that also, so you become more powerful, you become more recognized. But of course, we understand that it's good that qualified people are devotees, So the more devotees are in qualified positions, the better for society at large. Or also you could say for our society it's very good if we have very qualified people, in qualified positions. So like that, the kings were advised to perform, a certain fire ceremony because of their qualification. Sometimes also to atone for some, something that went wrong. If you perform a ceremony, you can atone for this mistake also. Yes. Anything else? Yeah. Okay, do it first. Microphone. Could you give the microphone?
So doesn't Indra behavior make him seem less great? So he already did 100 yajnas and is considered very powerful. You think someone like that will be perfect, suppose, yeah? But instead he still feels jealous and scared of losing his position.
Yeah.
So isn't he looks like less great because of his
jealousy.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what Brahma is saying. Brahma is saying, let's see what the Sanskrit says. Because in the English it says, no, there was a few verses before. Where was it? Here. Kratur vitraman eshad viveshu dura vagraha dharma vyakatikaro yatra pakandhair indra nirmitaihi. And dura vargraha, addiction to unwanted things. Dharma vyatikaraha, violation of religious principles. So, Prabhupada translates deveshu dura. So deveshu means among devas, among those who are of divine quality, divine character. Even amongst them, there is duravagraha and dharma vyatikaro. Very unwanted desires, unwanted things, addiction to unwanted things, and violation of religious principles. So, yeah, this is very, maybe shocking, but it's true, Even those sort of divine character, even amongst devotees, we are devotees, we want to, please Krishna, we put tilak every day, we chant japa every day, but still, you will find devotees who commit great sin, very, horrible sinful activities, or might be addicted, to sinful activities, bad habits, still. So, performing hundreds fire sacrifices, 100 Ashwamedha yajnas, or being in the position of Indra, is no guarantee that you are a pure devotee. To be a pure devotee is something much, much, much greater, much deeper also. Because the problem is that we can also become very attached to sattva guna. Because generally you could say devotees and the demigods, they are in sattva guna. Means they are in a mode of goodness, and they're very, they might be very disciplined, very clean, But sattva guna is still material. It's not transcendental. So if sattva guna is not purified, and becomes Shuddha sattva, if not everything that you do is actually done for the pleasure of Krishna, then this sattva guna itself can degrade at any moment. So because sattva guna, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes conditions the living entity by the feeling of being happy. So sattva guna means, maybe you're vegan, you give so many donations, you have 100,000 followers on Instagram, and you're a very good person, you have so many friends, you're very popular, so you think everything is nice, I'm good, and so like that, you can be easily fall into the trap. You think that everything is good, and of course then pride can come, You become proud because of your position. Then also tendencies, if you're proud, you judge others, You think like, look at all these low lives, who are, not so sattvic like I am, They're eating, McDonald's, I'm such a good person, they're such horrible people, So you can become, very arrogant, And, when arrogance is there and pride is there, it's only a question of time that you will fall. You make a mistake, And there's many examples of people who are very successful, that they become too aggressive, vocal, whatever, and then people are, disgusted and they, unfollow, cancel, Nowadays we have this cancel culture. I don't know if you've heard about, cancel culture, You say something people don't like, and then suddenly everybody cancels you, And you will become a pariah, rejected, It's like, oh no, So yes, that's same situation for Indra, such a high position of power, very advanced, in so many ways. But as long as the desires are not all linked with Krishna, and you are enjoying sattva guna separately from Krishna, it's Maya, it's material illusion, it's unwanted desires, So being vegan is not good enough, even it's, might help so many animals still, The broccoli also died for you, So if you just eat the broccoli without offering it to Krishna, there is some karma, It's not that a vegetarian diet is karma-free, It becomes karma-free when we offer food to the Lord, Because everywhere is violence in this world, Okay? Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Thank you für wunderbare lecture. Guru from Maharaj Parikshit, not Maharaj Parikshit, from Prithu is Sanatan Kumar, yeah?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And why not come Sanat Kumar to give him some advice? Why come Brahma in this situation?
Good question. Sanat, the meeting of Sanatan was already there. I'm not sure now. Horse sacrifices. So that means that Prithu Maharaj at this point did not have Sanat Kumar yet as his guru. Because we are chapter 19 now. This is Canto 1, no? Part 1, yeah. Yes. So at this point, Prithu Maharaj did not take shelter yet of the 4 Kumaras. No bit simple explanation. But yes. Yeah, and Brahma, of course, it's like in the hierarchy, it's the demigods. When something is going wrong, they go to Brahma. If Brahma cannot solve it, they go to Shiva, and if Shiva cannot solve it, they go to Vishnu. So it's like that. Or sometimes Brahma also goes directly to Vishnu. Like Bhudevi, Mother Earth. She was overburdened with all these military formations on her surface, so she went to Brahma. And then Brahma went with her, with all the demigods, to the milk ocean, Kshiruda Kashai Vishnu, and prayed to Vishnu, so he would descend, and help. So Brahma is always, he's the, you could say, he's the ruler of the entire universe, So he is responsible always, also. The guru might be the direct authority. Maybe it's like in ISKCON also, we have, the temple president, and then we have the guru, but maybe the guru is not always there. Temple president is there. You can also talk to the GBC, Somebody's making trouble, So you could say Brahma is the institutional authority. He's the ruler of the universe, So he's always in charge as well, and also an authority. I mean, he's an incarnation of the Lord. Yeah, but I mean, for sure, whenever a king is installed, there's always brahmanas who give advice. So he might have, for sure, he had some shiksha gurus, and I'm not sure if the 4 Kumaras give him directly diksha initiation. But I think then Prithu Maharaj accepted the 4 Kumaras as his main shiksha gurus. Of course, Prithu Maharaj is a unique manifestation. He was not born as a baby, who then slowly grew and then became, went to school, he manifested like in full form already, So, it's unique, it's unique. It's not like Lord Ramachandra is the perfect example. He did everything. He went to Gurukul, he took a spiritual master, everything. Also Lord Krishna, he also went to Gurukul in Ujjain, Ujjain, a very famous place. Ujjain is famous for this Mahakaleshvara temple. The That's the, nowadays we calculate the time from Greenwich, Greenwich in England. This is 0 time. And then west and east, the time goes plus or minus hours. In ancient times, the 0 point was Mahakaleshwar in Ujjain. So this Mahakaleshwar means Shiva, who was the master of time. Mahakaleshwar. And the Greeks, even in Greece, in the ancient world, they referred to Ujjain as the 0 time point. It was famous. So in Ujjain, Krishna Balaram went to Gurukul, in the Gurukul of Sandipani Muni. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj opened a school there also. So usually the incarnations of the Lord, they give an example. They take a guru, they go to school, everything, so that the people might follow. But in the case of Prithu Maharaj, of course, is a little bit different, maybe unique. Yes. Anything else? Okay. Granth Raj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.